Gunshots shattered the penthouse windows. Glass exploded inward like 1,000 diamonds, catching the morning light before raining down in deadly shards. Leon threw Aisha to the floor, his body covering hers before she even registered the sound. The weight of him was crushing and safe all at once. "Stay down!" His voice was ice. 3 men burst through the shattered glass, weapons raised. Leon's gun was already in his hand, moving with practiced precision. 2 shots. 2 bodies dropped before they could fire. The 3rd man swung his weapon toward Aisha. Leon moved faster than should have been possible, tackling him, the gun skittering across the marble floors. Aisha watched, frozen, as the man she was falling for transformed into something terrifying, brutal, efficient. Leon's elbow cracked against the man's jaw once, twice, then his hands were around the man's throat. It lasted 10 seconds. Then the intruder went limp. Leon stood, breathing hard, blood splattered across his white shirt. Not his blood. He turned to Aisha, eyes blazing with something between rage and fear. "Welcome to my world," he said quietly. "Still think you can handle it?" Aisha couldn't speak, couldn't move, just stared at the bodies on his floor like they were props in a movie, not real men who'd been breathing 30 seconds ago. "Aisha." He crossed to her, pulled her to her feet. His hands were steady despite the violence they'd just delivered. "Look at me. Are you hurt?" She shook her head. "Good." He pulled out his phone, made a call in rapid Korean, then looked at her again. "Get dressed. We're leaving in 5 minutes." If you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? This story is about to explode. Hit that button now because episode 4 is going to shatter everything. 12 hours earlier. The morning had started so differently. Aisha had woken in Leon's bed, sunlight streaming through those same windows that were now destroyed. He'd already been awake, standing at those windows with his phone, speaking in that rapid Korean that meant business. She'd watched him for a moment, this dangerous man who'd somehow become her anchor in chaos. When he'd noticed her watching, his expression had softened. Just slightly. Just enough. "Coffee?" he'd asked. "Please." They'd sat on his balcony, Seoul spreading beneath them like a promise. For 10 minutes, it had almost felt normal. A man and a woman having morning coffee. Then his phone had started buzzing, and buzzing, and buzzing. "I have to take these," he'd said, apologetic. She'd nodded, sipped her coffee, and tried not to listen. Tried not to hear the words she was learning meant danger. Words like church, protection, eliminate. When he'd finally hung up, his face had been carved from stone. "Your aunt's safe house worked," he'd told her. "My people have eyes on her 24/7. But the Zhang family is escalating. They hit one of my warehouses last night. Killed 3 of my men." The words had landed like blows. 3 men. Real people with families, lives, futures. Dead because of a war she'd accidentally walked into. "I'm sorry," she'd whispered. "Don't be." His voice was hard. "This was coming anyway. You're just the excuse they're using. If it wasn't you, it would be something else." Before she could respond, there had been a knock at the penthouse door. Sharp, insistent. Leon had tensed immediately, hand moving to the gun she now knew he always carried. "Stay here." He'd crossed to the door, checked the security screen, and his expression had shifted to something complicated. Surprise mixed with wariness. He'd opened the door, and there she was, the blonde woman from the elevator. Aisha's stomach had dropped. Of course this woman would be part of his life. Beautiful, polished, belonging in his world in ways Aisha never would. "Yuna." Leon's voice had been carefully neutral. "What are you doing here? We need to talk." The woman's eyes had flicked to Aisha, assessing, calculating. "Both of you." Yuna had walked in like she owned the place, and maybe she had once. She'd set her designer bag on Leon's counter with familiar ease, accepted the coffee he'd poured without asking, and settled into his chair like she'd done it 1,000 times before. "I'm Yuna Park," she'd said to Aisha directly. "I run the legitimate side of Leon's empire. Real estate, hotels, investments. I also provide intelligence when needed, and right now, you need it." "Yuna and I have history," Leon had added, his voice tight. "Business and personal. But the personal is over. Has been for 2 years. She knows that." Yuna had smiled, but it hadn't reached her eyes. "I know that. Doesn't mean I have to like your choices, but that's not why I'm here." She'd pulled out her phone, swiped through photos, and laid it on the table. Images of Aunt Rose leaving her house, of Aisha walking to the hotel, of New Life Church from multiple angles. "The Jang family has been busy," Yuna had continued. "They know everything. Your aunt's address, her routine, the church layout. They have detailed photos of everyone who attends services, and they're planning something." "What kind of something?" Aisha's voice had barely worked. "The kind that makes headlines." Yuna's expression had been grim. "They want to force Leon's hand publicly, make him look weak, or make him look like a monster. Either way, he loses." Leon had gone very still, the kind of stillness that preceded violence. "When?" "Soon. Maybe today. My source says they're moving up the timeline because you've been too effective at protecting the aunt directly, so they're going bigger." Yuna had looked at Aisha then, really looked at her, and something almost like sympathy had crossed her face. "You're the leverage they've been looking for. Leon's never had a weakness before. Congratulations. You're it. And now everyone you love is a target because of it." The words had been cruel in their honesty. Aisha had felt them settle into her bones like ice. "So what do we do?" she'd asked. "We draw them out," Leon had said immediately. "On our terms, our location. End this before they can hurt anyone." "You mean use yourself as bait?" Yuna hadn't made it a question. "Yes. That's insane. They want you dead, Leon. Walking into their territory is suicide. Then I'll make sure they die first." His voice had been absolutely calm, absolutely certain. "Set up a meeting. Neutral ground. Tell them I want to negotiate. They won't believe that." "They will if I bring Aisha." The room had gone silent. Both women had stared at him. "No," Yuna had said flatly. "Absolutely not. I'm coming." Aisha had surprised herself with how steady her voice was. "They're using me whether I'm there or not. At least, if I'm with you, I'm not waiting around to be a victim." Leon had studied her face for a long moment, then nodded, just once. "You don't run. You don't freeze. You stay behind me. You do exactly what I say, when I say it. Understood?" "Understood." Yuna had shaken her head. "You're both insane. But fine, I'll set it up. Incheon Warehouse District. 2 hours. That gives me time to position our people." She'd stood, gathered her things, paused at the door. "Leon, don't get distracted trying to protect her. That's how you die." "I know." After Yuna had left, there had been a stretched silence. Then Leon had crossed to Aisha, pulled her close. "Last chance to walk away," he'd murmured against her hair. "I can still get you out of Korea safely. New identity, clean passport, enough money to start over anywhere. Is that what you want?" "What I want is irrelevant. This is about keeping you alive." She'd pulled back to look at him. "Then let me decide what risks are worth taking. You've been making choices for me since the elevator. Let me make this one." Something had flickered in his eyes. Respect, maybe. Or fear. "Okay," he'd said quietly. "But Aisha, if something goes wrong, if I tell you to run, you run. You don't look back. You don't try to help. You survive. Promise me." She'd nodded, knowing it was a lie. Knowing she couldn't promise that. But he'd needed to hear it. They'd spent the next hour preparing. Leon had given her a phone with emergency numbers, shown her how to use the panic button, made her memorize the route from the warehouse to the nearest police station just in case. "You won't need it," he'd said, "but I need to know you could save yourself if everything goes to hell." Then they'd left. Driven through Seoul in tense silence, Leon's security team had followed in 2 cars, professional and invisible. The warehouse district in Incheon was industrial, empty. The kind of place where gunshots wouldn't be immediately reported. Perfect for violence. The warehouse was exactly what Aisha had expected from movies. Concrete floors, high ceilings, empty except for abandoned equipment creating shadows. 8 men waited inside. All armed, though their weapons were holstered. For now. The man in charge was obvious. Mid-40s, expensive suit that didn't quite hide the muscle underneath. Eyes that calculated every angle. Park Jin-woo, the Jung family's enforcer. Leon Kang. Park's smile was all teeth. "Finally showing your face, and you brought your little distraction. How thoughtful." Leon's expression never changed. "Let's skip the posturing, Park. You wanted a meeting. Here I am. State your terms." Simple. You hand over your Incheon operations. All warehouses, docks, shipping routes. You withdraw from the port completely. In exchange, we forget about your pet and her aunt. And if I refuse? Park's smile widened. Then we make examples. Starting with the church. You know how many people attend Sunday services? 60? 70? Would be a shame if something happened during worship. Aisha's blood went cold. He was talking about mass murder like discussing the weather. Leon's voice dropped to something lethal. You touch one person in that church. I don't just kill you. I erase your entire bloodline from Seoul. Every business, every asset, every person who shares Park blood. I'll make sure your family name becomes a warning, not a legacy. Big words for a man whose weakness is standing right next to him. That's when Aisha saw it. Park's phone lighting up on the table behind him, a message notification, a photo preview, of Aunt Rose, leaving her safe house. Right now. They're at her house. Aisha breathed. Leon. Everything exploded. Park's men reached for weapons. Leon's security burst through the warehouse doors, the air filled with the crack of gunfire and the smell of cordite. Leon grabbed Aisha, shoved her behind a concrete pillar, his body between her and the chaos. Stay down, he shouted over the noise. But Aisha wasn't staying. She pulled out the phone Leon had given her, called Aunt Rose's number. It rang, and rang, and rang. No answer. Terror, unlike anything she'd felt before, seized her chest. Leon, we have to go. They're going to kill her. Leon was scanning the warehouse, gun-tracking movements, his people systematically eliminating Park's men. Professional, efficient, terrifying, but too slow. Every second here was a second her aunt was in danger. Minho, Leon shouted to his second in command. Clean this up. I'm going to the church. Sir, we're not done. I said clean it up. The authority in his voice left no room for argument. He grabbed Aisha's hand and they ran. Behind them, gunfire continued. Park was screaming orders, but Leon didn't look back. They reached the car, Leon already on his phone coordinating, giving rapid instructions in Korean. The drive through Seoul was a blur. Leon pushed the car to speeds that should have been illegal, weaving through traffic with precision that came from practice. Aisha tried Aunt Rose's number again. No answer. Again. No answer. Why isn't she answering? Aisha's voice cracked. She might be screening unknown numbers. Or her phone might be off. Or... He stopped himself. Or what? Or they already have her. He didn't soften it, didn't try to protect her from the possibility. But if they do, she's alive. She's only valuable as leverage if she's alive. Cold comfort, but comfort nonetheless. Aisha's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. A video file. She opened it with shaking hands. The video showed Aunt Rose's bedroom. Empty but clearly hers. Aisha recognized the cross on the wall, the photos of family. A voice spoke over the footage, mechanical, obviously disguised. You chose wrong, Aisha Williams. Now everyone pays. Starting with your aunt. You have 72 hours to leave Seoul. If you're still here Sunday morning, the next video will be from her funeral. The video cut to black. Leon snatched the phone, watched it again, his jaw tight. That's not the Yang family's style. What? The video. The voice disguiser. The 72-hour deadline. Park is direct, brutal, fast. This is something else. I don't care who it is. They have video of my aunt's house. They're threatening to kill her. I know. And we're 2 minutes from the church. He took a corner hard enough to throw her against the door. But Aisha, something's wrong about this. The timing, the tactics. Someone's playing a bigger game here. They screeched to a stop outside New Life Christian Church. Evening service had just ended. People were milling around outside, talking, laughing. Everything looked normal. Too normal. Leon's entire body had gone tense. Stay close to me. Something's off. They got out of the car. Leon's hand was near his concealed weapon, eyes scanning everything. Aisha spotted her aunt immediately, standing near the church entrance talking with Elder Park. Relief flooded through her so completely she almost collapsed. She's okay, she's fine. They were bluffing. No. Leon's voice was hard. This is wrong. If they sent that video, if they threatened her, where's their play? Where's... The van appeared. It came from nowhere, screeching around the corner. Side door already open. 4 men inside, weapons visible. Everything happened too fast and too slow at once. The van stopped. Men jumped out, guns raised, screaming. People started running, screaming. Chaos erupted in seconds. Leon moved instantly, positioning himself between the gunmen and the fleeing civilians. His weapon was out, firing with controlled precision. 2 men dropped immediately. But one gunman wasn't focused on Leon. He was focused on Aunt Rose. Aisha saw it in slow motion, the gun rising, aiming at her aunt's chest. Aunt Rose frozen in shock. No time. No time to run. No time to... Elder Park moved. The man Aisha had dismissed as creepy, presumptuous, pushy. He threw himself in front of Aunt Rose without hesitation. His body blocked hers completely. The shot rang out. Elder Park jerked backward, red blooming across his white shirt. He crumpled to the ground. Aunt Rose's scream cut through every other sound. Leon eliminated the remaining gunman with 3 precise shots. Police sirens wailed in the distance. People were running, crying. Some were filming on phones. The front of God's house was splattered with blood. Aisha ran to her aunt, who had dropped to her knees beside Elder Park's body. She was praying desperately, hands pressed to his chest, trying to stop the bleeding. Please, God, please, not him, please. Aunt Rose. Her aunt looked up, saw Aisha, saw Leon standing behind her, gun still in hand. The expression on Aunt Rose's face was something Aisha would remember forever. Horror, understanding, condemnation. You brought this here. Her voice was hollow. You brought death to God's house. I didn't... That man. Aunt Rose pointed at Elder Park with blood-stained hands. That righteous man might die because of your sin, because you chose him. She pointed at Leon with shaking fury. You chose this monster over your family, over your faith, over everything decent. The ambulance arrived. Paramedics swarmed Elder Park, working frantically. He was alive, barely. They loaded him onto a stretcher, Aunt Rose climbing in beside him, still praying. Before the ambulance doors closed, she looked at Aisha one last time. Don't come to the hospital. Don't come to my house. You made your choice. Now live with it. The doors slammed shut. The ambulance pulled away. Aisha stood there, blood on the church steps, her aunt's words echoing in her head. Around her, police were arriving, witnesses being questioned. Leon's hand found her shoulder. We need to leave. Before questions become problems. She let him guide her to the car, numb. They drove in silence for several minutes before Leon's phone rang. He answered. Listened. His face went completely dark. When? Pause. Where's the body? Pause. Understood. He hung up. Looked at Aisha with an expression she couldn't read. What? She asked. Park Jin-woo is dead. Him and his entire crew at the warehouse. Professional hit, within minutes of us leaving. Aisha's exhausted brain couldn't process it. What do you mean? I mean someone killed them. All of them. Made it look like my people did it, but it wasn't us. It was too clean, too fast, too professional. I don't understand. That attack on your aunt's church wasn't the Jang family either. Leon's voice was controlled, but she heard the tension underneath. Park was already planning to negotiate. He wanted territory, not bodies. This attack was designed to look like his work, but it wasn't his style. Then who? Someone else is playing this game. Someone who wanted both families in chaos. Someone who wanted us at that church. Someone who wanted civilian casualties and police attention and maximum damage to my reputation. He pulled over, turned to face her fully. We've been pawns, Aisha. Both of us. From the start. That's impossible. Is it? Think about it. The threats escalated too fast, too perfectly timed. Park showed up at the warehouse, but who told him I'd be there? Who sent him? Who benefits from Leon Kang looking like he's starting a public war? Aisha's mind reeled. You're saying someone set this whole thing up? From the beginning? From the elevator. His voice was grim. Someone wanted us to meet. Wanted you to become my weakness. Wanted to use that weakness to create chaos. Who would do that? Leon's phone buzzed with a message. He looked at it, and for the first time since she'd met him, Aisha saw fear cross his face. He showed her the screen. A photo. Taken tonight. Of them standing outside the church. Time-stamped 10 minutes ago. Below it, a message. Enjoying the show? It's just beginning. Your safe houses aren't safe. Your people aren't loyal. And the woman you're trying to protect? She's the perfect weapon to destroy you. See you soon, Leon. An old friend. 1 in 503 words. Leon stared at the message for 5 seconds that felt like 5 hours. Then he made a decision. We're leaving Seoul. Tonight. What? Leon, my aunt. Your aunt is in a hospital surrounded by police and witnesses. She's the safest she's been in days. He pulled back into traffic, driving with purpose now. But we're not. Someone's been watching us this whole time. Someone who knows my security protocols, my safe houses, my people. That means someone on my payroll is compromised. You think you have a traitor? I think I have several. His jaw was tight. That message said old friend. That narrows it down. There are only 3 people who would call themselves that. 2 of them are dead. The third? His phone rang. Yuna. Leon answered on speaker. Where are you? Leon, we have a problem. Yuna's voice was urgent, strained. Park's entire crew is dead. But it's worse than that. Someone leaked footage to the media. Cell phone video from the church. It's everywhere. News is calling you a gangster who brought violence to a peaceful church. Police have a warrant. For what? Everything. Murder, assault, conspiracy. They're coming for you. You have maybe an hour before every cop in Seoul is hunting you. Leon swore in Korean. Who leaked the footage? I don't know. It was uploaded from multiple accounts simultaneously. professional coordination. A pause. Leon, someone with serious resources is coming after you. This isn't just young family politics anymore. I know, I got a message, someone calling themselves an old friend. Silence on the other end, then. No, it can't be him. He's dead. Who? Aisha asked. Who's dead? Han Ji-hoon, Yuna said quietly. Leon's first partner. The man who taught him everything. They built the empire together, but Ji-hoon got greedy. Wanted to expand into things Leon wouldn't touch. Drugs. Trafficking. They had a falling out 3 years ago. And? Aisha prompted. And Ji-hoon tried to have Leon killed. Failed. Leon returned the favor. Didn't fail. Yuna's voice was tight. I saw the body myself. Ji-hoon is dead. Buried. Gone. Then who sent this message? Leon pulled up the photo, sent it to Yuna. Another pause. Then. That's impossible. That angle, that position. Whoever took that photo was standing exactly where I parked my car tonight. The temperature in Leon's car seemed to drop 10 degrees. Yuna. His voice was deadly calm. Where are you right now? My apartment. Why? Get out. Right now. Don't go to any property we own. Don't contact any of our people. Someone's been using you for information. Leon, I would never... I'm not saying you're the traitor. I'm saying someone's been watching you, tracking you, using your movements to track mine. He took a hard turn. That photo was taken from your car, which means whoever sent it either has access to your vehicle or knew exactly where you'd park. How many people knew you'd be at that church tonight? Only you and... Yuna stopped. Oh God. Who? I told Minho. He's been coordinating security. He needed to know our positions. Leon's hands tightened on the wheel. Minho. His second in command for 6 years. Loyal, efficient, trusted with everything. Or so Leon had thought. Where is he now? Leon asked. I don't know. He was supposed to be cleaning up the warehouse. But Leon, if Minho's compromised, then he knows every safe house, every escape route, every contact we have. Leon was already calculating, adjusting, which means we can't trust anyone in the organization. He hung up, immediately started making calls, canceling protocols, changing passwords, activating contingencies that he'd hoped to never use. Aisha watched him work with growing dread. What do? We disappear. He finished his calls, turned to her. I have one place they don't know about. A property I bought under a shell corporation years ago. No one knows about it except me. We go there, regroup, figure out who's really behind this. And then what? Then I burn them down. The certainty in his voice was absolute. Whoever this is, whatever they're planning, they made one mistake. They went after you. They threatened your family. That makes it personal. It was already personal. No, before it was business. Now? His eyes met hers, and she saw the full depth of what she'd gotten into. Now it's war. They drove for another 20 minutes, leaving the city center, heading into an area Aisha didn't recognize. Older buildings, fewer lights. Leon pulled into an underground garage, used a key card that looked ancient, and parked in a space that clearly hadn't been used in months. Stay close, he said, leading her to a service elevator. The apartment was small, dusty, clearly abandoned for years, but Leon moved through it with familiarity, checking windows, securing doors, doing things with electrical panels that Aisha didn't understand. This was my first apartment in Seoul, he explained, when I was nobody. Before the empire, before the power. I kept it. Never told anyone. It's not much, but it's safe. Aisha looked around at the space. It was so different from his penthouse. Small, modest, almost sad. What happens now? She asked. Now we wait. I have someone I trust. Someone outside my organization, Who's going to dig into who's really behind this? Should have answers by morning. And my aunt? Leon pulled out his phone, showed her a live feed. Hospital security camera. Aunt Rose sitting beside Elder Park's bed. The man was alive, stable, surrounded by medical equipment. He's going to make it, Leon said. The bullet missed his heart by centimeters. He'll need surgery, recovery time. But he'll live. Relief crashed through Aisha so hard she had to sit down. He saved her. Why would he do that? Because some men become better than they are when they need to be. Leon sat beside her. He spent months being inappropriate with you. But when it mattered, he became a hero. People are complicated. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Aisha asked the question she'd been avoiding. Do you regret it? Meeting me? Every day. He said it without hesitation, then pulled her close. And not at all. That's the problem with you, Aisha. You make me want things I've spent 10 years not wanting. Safety. Peace. A life that doesn't end in violence. But that's not who I am. And maybe it's not who you need. What if you're exactly who I need? The words came out before she could stop them. What if safe and predictable is exactly what I've been running from? What if dangerous and real is what I've been looking for? He studied her face in the dim light. You saw me kill 3 men this morning. You saw what I am, how I live. The blood that's always on my hands. And you're still here. I'm still here. Why? Because... She turned to face him fully. Because you're the first person who's ever seen me. Really seen me. Not the good church girl, not the obedient niece, not the invisible immigrant trying to survive. You see all of it, and you don't try to fix me or save me or make me smaller. You just let me be. That's not enough. It's everything. He kissed her then. Different from before. Not desperate or claiming, just honest. A man and a woman in a small apartment, the world burning around them, choosing each other anyway. When they broke apart, Leon's phone buzzed, a message from his unknown contact. He read it, went completely still. What? Aisha asked. He showed her the screen, a photo of Han Ji-hoon, very much alive. Standing outside a building Aisha recognized, New Life Christian Church. Below it, a message. Found your ghost. He's been in Seoul for 6 months. Owns a pharmaceutical company now. Legitimate front. Dirty money. He's been positioning himself to take over your territory by destroying your reputation first, making you look like a violent thug who attacks churches. But here's the interesting part. He's been attending New Life Christian Church for 3 months, under a different name. He knows your woman's aunt personally. Leon's expression was carved from ice. He's been inside the church this whole time, planning this for months, using your aunt to get to you, using you to get to me. So what do? We end it. He stood, started making preparations, checking weapons, planning. Tomorrow is Sunday. Services start at 10. Ji-hoon will be there, playing the good Christian businessman. That's when we take him down. In the middle of a church service? No. After. When he's alone. When he thinks he's won. Leon's smile was cold. He wanted to destroy me by attacking your world, so I'll destroy him in it. Poetic justice. Aisha should have been horrified, should have protested, should have said something about violence and churches and lines that shouldn't be crossed. Instead, she asked, "What do you need me to do?" Be bait one more time. Walk into that church tomorrow. Let him see you. Let him think he's won. Then lead him somewhere isolated. Leon's eyes met hers. Can you do that? Yes. It might be dangerous. Everything about you is dangerous. She stood, crossed to him. But I'm done running. I'm done being the victim in everyone else's story. If we're doing this, we're doing it together. He pulled her close, rested his forehead against hers. After tomorrow, one way or another, this ends. Either we take down Ji-hoon or he takes us down. There's no middle ground. Then we better not lose. We won't. The certainty in his voice was absolute. Because I've got something Ji-hoon doesn't, something he threw away when he chose money over loyalty. What's that? Something worth protecting. He kissed her temple. Get some rest. Tomorrow we go to war. And this time, we win. Outside, Seoul glittered in the darkness. Somewhere in that vast city, a dead man walked free, planning his final move. Somewhere, Aunt Rose prayed over a man who'd taken a bullet meant for her. Somewhere, pieces were moving on a board that Aisha was only beginning to understand. But here, in this small, forgotten apartment, two people who shouldn't fit made a choice. Not the safe choice, not the smart choice, just the only choice that mattered. To stand together when everything else fell apart. Episode 4 drops soon and everything explodes. Who is Han Ji-hoon really? What's his endgame? Will Aisha's trap work, or is she walking into her own death? And what happens when Aunt Rose discovers the truth? Comment justice if you think Leon should end Ji-hoon, or mercy if he should walk away. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications because episode 4 is going to destroy you in the best way. We're ending this story in episode 5, and trust me, you've never seen an ending like this. See you soon. Don't miss it.